It's time to dust off those mica stains because we are combining it on top of the texture paste. If you've never tried this, the results may surprise you. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Tiffany Solorio, and we are back for day 10 of 20 days of creative play. We are halfway through. I am super excited and feeling very inspired. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to grab your free PDF. The link is down in the description box for you. I am working on building a class around all of these prompts, and you don't want to miss when I send out that email with all of that information. So be sure to get on my email list by grabbing this free PDF. All right, so we are going to be combining paste and mica stains together. If you haven't done this, it is actually really cool. I am going to be adding a little bit of distress stain just because I personally don't like all of that shimmer. So I'm going to kind of mute it down a little bit with some distress stain. And I am going to start with this stencil. I'm trying to keep the supply list simple, so I'm going to add some opaque texture paste. Now, I'm not going to experiment with a bunch of different pastes today, so I'm just going to use a texture paste. Just going to add that right through that stencil. I think I do have a little bit of something else, some other texture paste on my palette knife, but that's okay. By the time we're done, we will be pros at using texture paste through the stencil. I think I do have some of this fiber paste on my palette knife from the day before, because I am filming, I'm like bulk filming these, so it is what it is. It'll all be fine. All right, so I'm gonna lift this up. I'm going to clean my stencil while I let this dry. All right, I'm bringing in my cookie cooling rack because I like to use sprays on top of it. And I'm just gonna go in with a neutral color first, which I like to use antique linen just to get a little color down. And I'm gonna go in with a little bit of weathered wood. These are all on my desk, so that is what I'm using. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of these mica stains. And you do wanna make sure that you shake them up pretty good. And will this spray? Yep, it's gonna spray. And then we'll go in with this. That was frosted juniper. And I'm gonna go in with crooked broomstick. Just a little bit of that one, I think. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna go in with some water and get that moving around. We're gonna dry this just a little bit. I'm actually gonna go in with a little bit of green. This is fresh balsam. And we're just gonna kind of spray it a couple little areas here and there just to give a little bit more color to this. And then because I have it on my desk, I'm gonna go in with a little bundled sage just to add a little bit more color to this background. I'm going to spritz it with a little bit of water. Now, I did find that once the mica stain dries, it's hard to get all of that goodness of like, when you add the water, all of that like depth and then all of that texture you can, or implied texture you can get by adding the water to the sprays. So keep that in mind when you're creating your background. All right, so I don't know if you can see this, but what happens with the mica stain is that the mica, like the shimmer, pulls up around all of that paste. So you get a little shimmer like on top. I don't know if that's gonna show up, but I will hopefully get a close-up so you can see what I'm talking about a little bit better. But the mica kind of just like grabs on to the sides of that paste. It's really neat. I really like using a little bit of mica. I'm not, again, the biggest fan of shimmer, but sometimes I do like to use a little bit of it here and there. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of water to kind of help add a little more something to this background. I'm going to try to pick some of that up with a paper towel. I think I want to add just a little bit of color down here, just because there was nothing there, so maybe a little bit more of this there, a little bit there. All right, I'm knocking things over. I'm done. All right, so that's it for day 10. I hope you enjoyed. And again, be sure to grab that free PDF. The link is in the description box below. And if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to join the community as I make my way to 100,000 subscribers. I am so close and I'm so grateful. And as always, don't forget to stay creative, and I will catch you all for day 11.